So, good morning, everybody. This is Saturday Morning Live for e-commerce sellers. And let us know that you're here and that you can hear us. We have a special guest today. Hi, Meg of EVA Repricer, and our master coach, Danita Zonre, is with us today. We're both users of EVA. We're excited about telling you more about the EVA Repricer. And let's see, we get... Oh, I need to let the two of you speak so we can have a sound check. So hi, good morning.
Good morning. So thanks for having me.
And Danita.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good to see you all.
All right, this Danita's calling from Italy, and that's why it's afternoon there. Okay, I think we have a sound check. Let's see, Lisa's giving us a little, sounds great. Okay, so we're starting a little bit early. We give the electrons a few minutes to warm up and let some people roll into our Facebook Live and YouTube channels. Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm from San Diego.
And those are your beautiful offices there at San Diego? Your virtual office?
Exactly. I wish I would have an office like that, but at least like the picture is from like the background, what you see is really San Diego. And yeah, I mean, I love my virtual office and also the San Diego as well.
Well, that's one of the advantages of e-commerce. It allows us to live and work from wherever we want. And Danita, you were working last week, not from your home, but where?
Last week I was in Colorado visiting my daughter, and I had all of my family with me last week. So that was good. Got to see all the kids and all the grandkids.
Okay, I think we're just about ready for 7. Well, for me, it's 7 a.m. in the morning. For Hi, it's also 7 a.m. And Danita, what time is it there in Italy?
4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. here.
Okay. Well, let's kick it off here. Again, this is Saturday Morning Live for e-commerce sellers. Glad that you're here. We do this every week at 9 a.m. Central Time, Saturday morning. We have training with special guests like today. We'll have success stories from our members. So I'm glad that you're tuning in. And I want to welcome new members. Oh, here we go. Let me change this. There we go. Let's welcome our new members that have come to us in this past week or so, e-commerce business school. So if you're brand new, would you please put something in the chat? Let us know that you're here and watching us, and let the other members of EBS welcome you. So we're glad and excited that you're here with us today. Let's talk briefly about the 3 pillars of e-commerce success. We hang our hat on these 3 pillars. That's generating cash flow. This is where you jumpstart your business and keep it going. And I know all of you that are fairly new in business, this is what you're doing right now. You're developing cash flow. You'll begin to automate systems, the 2nd pillar. This is where you free up your time, scale up your business. And as you do that, as you implement those systems in your business, you'll automatically be building assets. And an e-commerce business can be a very profitable business, not just for the net profit, but also as an asset should you ever want to sell the business. So this is something that you could pass on to your family or sell to investors for profit. We'd like you to share our Saturday Morning Live with others, if you will. If you think this is valuable information, which I think you will when you hear today's session. If you feel that there's a lot of value and there's other people that you know that could benefit from this, would you please share this with others? You can simply go down to the bottom right-hand corner, that little share button there, and click on that. You can send messages to your Facebook friends. So please share this with others. I'd like to announce the winner of our weekly Feed the Beast Challenge. We do this every week. We announce this on Saturday, the results of our Feed the Beast Friday. And you can participate in this, Feeding the Beast for Amazon, by simply showing some evidence of listing products or sending products into Amazon's warehouses. So you can show pictures of boxes going in or something. If you're using a fulfillment center, you can show shipping plans from your Amazon account, or the yellow bars of your success on Amazon. Just make sure that you use the hashtag Feed the Beast, and you're automatically entered into the weekly challenge. And so this week's winner is Valerie and Kevin Tate. And there's a great picture right here, Valerie and her daughter sitting on top of products in the back of their minivan. I don't know what store they're in front of there, but they're obviously loading up of arbitrage products. And you can see Valerie and Kevin's success right there with the yellow bars from Amazon. So congratulations, Valerie and Kevin. Give them a big high five or show them some love. And I also want to thank our other members that have participated: Aaron, Bamberly, Ed, Zaz, Gina, Jeanette, Christy, Marilyn, Nicole, Paula, and Rhonda. Okay, let's get on to the content for today. So this is EVA Repricer co-founder. Hi, Meg. And yes, hi. So glad you're with us this morning. Will you tell us just a little bit about EVA, what a repricer is, just kind of a high-level description of a repricer?
Sure. And again, it's thanks for having me, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you today. And the other thing that I really like about it is because there are a lot of like new sellers that are listening to us. And myself, I was also an Amazon seller. I still have a store, but like everything started like by sending a few boxes to Amazon almost like a decade ago. And with my co-founder, which we together started. And once we started like with the Amazon journey, and it's not an easy one. Like I know that it sounds like, okay, here is your freedom ticket, here is your asset for your family. Okay, it's all great, but it's also like it's freedom in terms of where you can be, but in terms of like the number of hours that you put into the business, like I'm pretty sure that the audience already knows that it's not easy money. It's just like, at least you know where you want to be, but it's still that you need to work really hard. And we really worked really hard about it. Couple of years, we started building our e-commerce business. We ended up we still have the same store, which is doing like $10 million a year right now. And everything started from retail arbitrage. So it's real, it can happen. And one of the things on the way that we discovered is like, it's not only about obviously finding the right products or working hard, but it's also about like using the right systems that can help you. And because I have a computer engineering background and my partner as well, we decided that we should build a platform that can automate a lot of tasks and primarily pricing, because it is becoming almost impossible by a human to do the pricing automation or changing the prices every single second or minute, depending on what it is with an Amazon. And we used a lot of tools like many years back, and the other thing was there were so many tools available, but they are not user-friendly, and they were not leveraging the power of artificial intelligence, which is a real fact today. And instead of like scared from AI, it's like for us a VA. It's like an assistant. It can help in a lot of ways to make our lives easier. So that's how we ended up creating EVA as an Amazon platform. And the primary function of EVA is pricing and fixing that issue. And also the second thing is the analytics, giving actionable insights to the Amazon sellers. I think the best is always to show it. So if it's okay, I would like to start maybe showing it a bit.
Sure. I'm going to ask you a few questions as we go along. And are you willing to answer questions from our members as they post them in the chat?
Of course. Let me just also let's check it if everything works fine. Can you see my screen right now?
Sure can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So now we have the EVA platform ready. And maybe before I start telling you more about EVA, maybe I can answer some questions.
Well, for somebody that's fairly new to Amazon, you mentioned changing prices like every minute or, several times a day. Why would somebody want to change their prices?
That's a great question. So, especially I know that the beginners, they start with retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, meaning that the same product is sold by multiple sellers. And Amazon has something called buy box, which as the consumers, we know this as buy now button. It's like a yellowish or
Yep.
button that we just click to that and buy the things. And the very important statistic is like 90% of the consumers, they just click to that button, but they don't care who is behind the button. Like, is it Amazon or is it a third-party seller? Now, for the third-party sellers, the primary thing is to own that button as much as possible, because if you are the one behind the button, then you will be 90% probability you will be the one that the consumer is buying from, even without knowing it. So that's why what the pricer is becoming important, because it's not only about pricing, but it's about a lot of different factors coming together to own the buy box. And what EVA is doing is it's helping you to make sure that you maximize your ownership of the buy box. And that's where the pricing kicks in, because price is one of the most important parameters to own the buy box. But it's not the only one. Maybe there is more than 10 to 50 parameters, but the major one is pricing. And EVA helps you to make sure that you are owning the buy box. In some situations, it can be 10, 15 competitors or third-party sellers trying to sell the same product. And if every single one has a different price, changing it all the time, then it becomes really impossible to cope that with that change, especially if you are like selling 20, 30, 50 SKUs products at the same time.
Now, I know you're going to answer this as you go in through the demonstration here. One of the things that people are thinking of is, well, great, that means it's going to keep me in the buy box. But if that means price is the major factor, it's going to probably put me at the lowest price. So when you go into your demonstration here, make sure that you talk about how EVA doesn't cause the race to the bottom and how it actually maximizes your price and profit. I think that's really important for members to know.
That's a great one. And obviously, Amazon wants the lowest prices as possible. And there is no reason not to mention that. You know, Amazon wants the consumers to have the lowest price. Now, from a seller's perspective, the owning the buy box is important. But while owning the buy box, it is also important to maximize the profits. And that's what EVA is doing by using the artificial intelligence. I hope I'll be able to show it to you as well.
Great. So let you just proceed.
Sure, absolutely. And at any point, I'm sure, you know, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them as well. So as I mentioned, the key point about EVA is pricing, but also to give an actionable insight or the analytics view of the Amazon business. So, and this is the store that I was mentioning. You know, I just wanted to make it really real to every Amazon store, like every Amazon seller, that a decade ago, this is one of the stores that we have started. And right now, we are almost around $645,000. And this is a reseller store. So it's a retail, it started as a retail arbitrage. I'm not saying that the retail arbitrage will make it to $600,000 a month, but it's the right starting point. And most likely the sellers, by the time they move to wholesaling or other type of things like private labels, and that will be the way to grow to maybe a seven-figure seller. And there's like the first thing that the platform is giving you is how the revenue, the expenses, the cost of goods sold looks like over a period of typically like 5 months. and also like the expenses for any given month. This is very important because the Amazon sellers, Amazon focuses you on revenue, like how much revenue you make, grow your revenues. But as a seller, you need to look at you need to have all the time one question in mind: how much money you make, and what's the value to you in terms of like the profits that you get. And one way to look at the profit is definitely to sell more and to sell it with a higher price, but also to make sure that you are aware of all your expenses, refunds, and everything in one single dashboard. EVA also gives you a sales order heat map, so you have an understanding of like in which state, how many quantities you sell, what's the revenue coming from every state. In the beginning, it might be less relevant. The more you grow your business, the more you will think about different channels to find your customers with your products, and that's where you're gonna get like some like insights, like the where you are selling your stuff will become more relevant. Again, in the beginning, there is no inventory storage fees because you are in the first days. Amazon is charging you nothing, but the more you grow your business, you're gonna see that the FBA inventory is not free, and there are fees for that. So we also track that fees. And finally, it's all about like you are shipping stuff to Amazon. It's like called the inbound, and then Amazon is distributing it between multiple warehouses. That's like FC transfer. So you need to make sure that all the things that you are sending is like monitored, and they are all kind of moving from one place to another. And that's where we are like monitoring the inventory. That's more like at the high level what EVA is showing you already about your business. Then on top of that, if I move to the operations center, where it is more about like giving you the daily sales information. And, today it's an early day in San Diego. It's 7 a.m., but this store already sold a few items. And that's important because from Seller Central, you cannot see what is going on real time, where on EVA, it's real time information about what you are selling and how many you are selling. At the same time, the profits, because we are doing the pricing, we get the cost information from you. I'm going to show it in a second, but that means that you can easily see how your profits are growing versus your sales. And you can also check what happened yesterday. For example, these are the yesterday sales. And if you want to compare it with another day like Saturday versus Friday, you can even also compare 2 days here, and you can check like what happened between the 2 days for the same products, what was the price, and how many units are sold. Now, if I just go to back to today, and if I pick like one of these products where you see the product name and what was the average price and how many units are sold, one of the really important information for the sellers is the refund rates, where we are able to show the last 90 days refund rates. Because if there is a refund of, let's say, 10% refund or even more, which means probably you are not making any money from that particular product. And there is a reason for that, because there's so many refunds. So you need to be aware of that one too. As you see, like with every single dashboard, there is always the highlighting of the profit and expenses, and to make sure that you are really making money out of Amazon. And if I just click to one of the single SKUs, and this is where it becomes really advanced in terms of analytics, because then we go down to the SKU level, to the product level. You see what the product is doing. You can easily navigate to the Seller Central or the product page, or even to the offers page, where you're able to see all the competitors. But also for this one single SKU, then you see how the orders are developing. The green one is like what is available, what is inbound, what is in transit, and the blues are the orders. If it becomes a little bit complex, you can always remove some of the the lines, and you can just look at your orders. Now, at the same time, you're able to see the profits for this particular SKU, meaning that at any given point of time, you can easily check like what was the sales amount, FBA fees, referral fees, and everything. Now, you see something like that because EVA is available globally, and many Amazon sellers start in US, but also we have seen that a lot of them, like you can easily sell it in UK or in European Union markets. That's another advantage of like e-commerce and Amazon, but also EVA supports your stores globally, which then you need to know about value-added tax in Europe or other things as well. But in principle, the profit analytics gives you like a daily view and a 30 days view of all the profits. And if I go back to the orders and inventory status, on the right-hand side, you see something called buy box status. And that's where the EVA artificial intelligence plays a key role, because there is no other software that is available to visualize the exact competition, like what's going on between, like your product versus what the competitors are doing. That's very easy to monitor. Like the way we talk about EVA is sometimes it's like the Netflix of Amazon. Like you just watch EVA doing your pricing and you just monitor it, but that's pretty much it. Like you don't need to define rules, or you need to know about algorithms, like which one to pick, which rule to define, because EVA artificial intelligence is already doing it for you. And my major point about that, before I go into details of pricing, is, are you really the guy just to know about price or to change the prices, or is it better to focus on finding the best products to sell? And that's where I think, I would recommend that, the audience really to focus on finding the best products, best suppliers, and let EVA does the job for you. Because if you are able to, that's the original piece that you need to be putting as the value, like, building the system and finding the best products. And then we can do the rest for you. Now, if you look at here, what's going on is there is already like a competitor here, but the green dot means that the buy box is owned by the Amazon seller, like by us, like by the EVA user, and the purple one is basically the competitor is winning the buy box, and also the gray one is showing you that the next best action that EVA will take is to reduce the price a little bit, because there is a competitor and now the price will go a little bit down to get the buy box back. Now, one of the things that we discussed was, is this all about price? Because then it means a race to the bottom. It is not about price, the buy box. It's actually a combination of two major parameters right now. By the way, it's changing almost every month, the weight of different parameters, but the number one thing is the price. Number two thing is the delivery dates. So if you are not delivering like late, but your price is low, but your delivery date is late, probably you may not also get the buy box too. And even in the last few months, delivery date was even more important than the price in terms of weight. But it changes from time to time. And then your ratings, the review of the product, negative feedback, and there's a lot of other set of things that also impacts the buy box ownership. But at the end of the day, once you own the buy box, what EVA is doing is a basic principle: own the buy box first, increase the price second. And that's the kind of the beauty of the algorithm, or the way that EVA works. and there is like 700 combinations of different situations. Like your competitor can be an FBA guy or an FBM guy. Maybe the buy box is suppressed. Maybe the delivery date is different. Maybe the item is back ordered. The combinations of all these things, like we cover all these 600 plus combinations of competitive scenarios, and based on that, EVA will decide on the next best action. And as soon as the buy box is owned, then EVA will start increasing the prices so that you are making more profits from the same unit. Now, to make it more even real, like I just clicked to the order page just for you to know what's going on here. Like this was the item that I was showing you on EVA, and on the real time, there is like two competitors. Like one of them is called, like something, and the other one, the Prime Coach, is the kind of the test store that I was using already on EVA. So Prime Coach owns the buy box. Now, if I just go back to the item, as I mentioned, most of the consumers, 90+%, they have no idea. They trust on Amazon. They know that Amazon is already checking all the third-party sellers, so you don't need to do any marketing or brand recognition about your store's name or anything. So what they do is like they just go and click to this buy now button. Now, when they click to that, you see a little thing here. It says ships from Amazon, meaning that it is FBA, and sold by the store that I mentioned to you, the Prime Coach. So that's the way kind of the things work. And if I just go back to EVA, and back to the EVA, and that's how EVA is ensuring that the product is the prices are updated to ensure that the buy box is owned. So that is the kind of the way it works. Now, I'm going to show you a bit more about like how it is configured and how it is easy to do that, maybe in 3 more minutes. Like if I just go through and here I went to the pricing management where you see every single item, and for every single SKU, the only thing that we are expecting, or the only decision that we expect the seller needs to give is what is the minimum price, because the minimum price is a business decision. There are multiple ways to reach to that business price. One is like you can easily just set a minimum price, which means EVA will never go below that price. But there is more, let's say, a bit sophisticated ways to get the minimum price, which is much better, because if you enter your product cost and you decide whether you want like the ROI or the margin calculation, like how much ROI you want on top of the cost, or what is the margin from the price from the product you want to get. And once you decide on that, either or, you just calculate, you click the calculate button, and EVA will get you all the FBA fees, storage fees, referral fees, variable closing fees, and everything, meaning that EVA will calculate the optimal minimum price for you. In this case, it is $11.37 for a cost of $4.92. And that's very important. Many of the sellers are using a lot of different tools, but EVA can automatically calculate this for you. Once it is set, you have the minimum price. Then there are some options. Go ahead.
Go back to that box there. We've had a question here about how easy is it to set up EVA. And this is your basic task that you need to do. It's EVA knows what your products are. They're visiting your Amazon account so they can see all your products. You need to tell EVA what your cost is and how much profit you want to make, either through setting a minimum return on investment or a minimum net margin. You choose either one of those. You get to choose the amount. And up in the upper right-hand corner of this box, you can also add additional costs. So if you want to have, in addition to your product costs, let's say you want to cover your prep fees, for instance, and have that as additional cost, or perhaps a leads list, or whatever other per unit cost that you'd like to have, you can put that in there. This is what protects your profits when you use EVA. So if there is heavy competition driving prices down, this holds your place, so you're not losing money, that you're making at least your minimum selected ROI or profit margin. That's it. That's all that people need to do, correct?
Absolutely. And also that's the kind of the for every single product that can be done, but also it is very easy to do it by just downloading a template which already shows you, like, you know, what is the cost, margin column, the cost column. And once they are filled, because many of the sellers will have maybe 50 items or 100 products. So it can also be done in a batch upload way, because once you download the template, it all comes with your products. Like, here is the beautiful thing about the beauty of EVA. You don't need to synchronize your system with Amazon or anything, because as soon as you add your products to Amazon, they will become available on EVA. And in the initial connection, like when you create, like connect your Amazon store to EVA, when you start the free trial, which is for 15 days, all the products will be there. You can just like add your minimum price, or by using the cost plus ROI or cost plus margin, or just the minimum price. And that's it. Then EVA will start running when you enable the pricing, like here. And once the pricing is enabled, you're going to see all these buy box statuses. Like here you see buy box win, buy box chasing with minimum price, buy box price below minimum price. And why it is red, meaning that, for example, let's look at this case, because that's an interesting one. Here is like what's going on. The minimum price, like there is a competitor, and the competitor is below the minimum price, meaning that EVA has not much to do in this scenario, because the competitor is already below your minimum price. Now you can ask me, what is EVA doing then? What the hell is this zigzags and all that stuff? Because what EVA is trying to do is like, it's just like trying to change the price and maybe try to like pull that competitor up, because like changing the prices may trigger maybe another automated but less intelligent function, which may, you know, kind of increase the price. But in this particular case, at least the competitor is pretty much stable, and at least the EVA is telling the user, hey, your buy box price is below minimum price, and maybe you need to, you know, kind of reduce it a bit and get the buy box. So that's the tags are super helpful, not only to decide, like to know if you are winning the buy box, but also it gives you like this visualization of the pricing gives you a ton of information that how your competitors are acting, if this product is a good enough product, like how many competitors are there, like how aggressive they are, because these are all important, and visualization is showing you that. Now, there are also some options that you can also define with EVA. We mentioned about minimum price, and that's the only thing that you need to do. But also, you can set a max price. It's not required, but you can set a max price. And you can also do some very interesting thing as a retail arbitrage. In retail arbitrage, we think this can be a killer function. It's an important function, which is the scheduled pricing. Like you can reduce your minimum price by X% every Y days. Meaning like if, you know, why it is important for retail arbitrage. And I really like this function for booksellers, for retail arbitrage, because you can buy some products from another marketplace or another like retail shop, but at the same time, maybe you will think about like a time frame, like let's say 6 months, and you want to make sure that in 6 months you sell this product. But in the first month, you want 50% profit, but on the second month, you are okay with 40%. On the third month, 30%. When it's already the 6th month, maybe you just want to get rid of the product because there is something wrong and you want to liquidate. So that one single pricing feature gives you the ability to not only always fight with the buybacks, fight for the buybacks or increase the price, but also play with your minimum price with a function of time so that you can use the time to change your minimum price. Another great value is for booksellers because they can use that function to maybe not to sell the books in the beginning with a lower price, but by the time maybe, competing on buybacks or sharing the buybacks becomes more important.
You're
so
speaking,
that's about
to one of our questions here. Aaron's saying, can you separate your book inventory out for your other products? And I think that the way you do this is a product by product basis, correct?
That's right. So, well, if I just go back to, now let me not save it, but if I just go back to the scorecard, here you see that this product is under the category of grocery and gourmet food. So EVA already knows your category. So if it is a book, then you're going to see here the books category. And EVA has again, because EVA knows the context, this is one of the parameters, like depending on the category, the EVA may work a little bit differently because it's different from category to category. We have seen that. And books are one of them. So you can, EVA knows that it's a book category. And if you are selling books using that scheduled pricing function combined with winning the buybacks can really make your life really easy because book selling is also about focusing on the profits because the minimum price or the cost of the book is maybe $1. So the cost is not relevant. The key point is how much profit you can make as fast as possible. So it's about time and profit function in the book selling compared to the rest of the Amazon, which is, different.
Ronnie's asking
so
Go ahead.
Let's follow through with Ronnie's question because it has to do with that box.
Okay.
And he's asking about liquidating aged inventory by reducing prices. So that same box that you were showing that has the dated, if you wanted to liquidate some products, you might step them down in price, perhaps on a weekly basis. And you could use this to do that, couldn't you?
Absolutely, because liquidation is nothing more than reducing the minimum price, let's say, maybe not to zero, because we do not do liquidation based on minimum price zero, but it will reduce it down to the FBA cost because you don't want to pay at least the Amazon fees and you want to get rid of the product every week, every month, depending on, we try to make it so simple, this function, so that it can work in every different scenario. Like here, for example, you want to decide like a monthly function, then you can make it like 30 days, right? Or you want to do it quarterly, you may make it 90 days or 7 days. So it just covers all different types of scenarios of reducing the minimum price. Because as long as your minimum price goes down, EVA will be more flexible to change the prices and will sell your product faster because your minimum price is going down.
Danita?
Well, I was just going to say that I thought it was very interesting that EVA uses different AI functionality based on category. And I think that's very useful. Brian and I were probably kind of chuckling in ourselves because we have had some very complex rules over time with other repricers that were based on category, based on seller, based on source, all of these kinds of things. So the idea that EVA is already taking that into consideration, that books need to be priced differently, especially used books need to be priced differently than toys. And toys may need to be priced differently than grocery items or other items with expiration dates. I think that's very useful for us to know, because those of us who've been in the repricing arena for a long time had to do all of that ourselves. We had to build very complex rules to take all of those things into consideration.
Absolutely. And, you know, the level of like competition and the level of aggressiveness of the competition is also different from category to category. Like electronics is very aggressive. In grocery, it might be sometimes less aggressive. And EVA is taken into consideration of all of them because at the end of the day, it's all about maximizing the profit. But maximizing the profit means also not to reduce the sales velocity. So have the sales velocity at the top level and then maximize the profit is the key. It's kind of mapping to like own the buy box first. And once you have the buy box, increase the price. Now, the only kind of exception to that is what if the retail arbitrage, the seller wants to wait, like, you know, because the only exception to that is like, you don't want to like sell right now because you want to wait because you think that if you wait, you will get a better price. And that's where the scheduled pricing kicks in, because you can easily use that and you can keep your minimum price higher and you wait until you are happy to wait for another 30 days and then reduce the minimum price. And that's why we combined like best of like scheduled pricing, algorithms, AI all together, you know, to create that blend. It's also kind of like maybe not for the retail arbitrage users, but EVA gives you a lot of like alerts, like how many units to be replenished on the inventory. That's less relevant to retail arbitrage, but at the end of the day, for retail arbitrage, it's a great tool for the starters. But the more you know, kind of grow your business, you know, have your suppliers and you need to replenish your stuff, EVA can give you like the whole replenishment forecasting and like at what point, which product you need to replenish, which one is the best one to replenish. And that is also another AI optimization algorithm, which for a given number of funds, for example, we made it so easy that if you have like $20,000 and you want to, you know, replenish your stock, EVA will give you like the algorithm based on the profit velocity, which items to replenish, which products to replenish. And based on that, you can easily export it and send it to your supplier. A little bit looks like an advanced functionality, but we made it so simple by just clicking this simulation button. And a lot of wholesalers are also using that. And that's also important to know. Maybe another, go ahead.
Hi, can we answer a few questions? We're just about out of time. I know that you want to talk about the reimbursements too. Can we answer a few questions and then?
Sure.
Okay,
absolutely.
Great. So Gurinder's asking, what would be a good starting ROI to let EVA win the buy box?
So it's, I wouldn't really, I mean, it's very much like a business decision, like how much ROI you would like to get. And, you know, it's really like any business, like it can start from, you know, in some cases I've seen like 25% as a good starting point. But, you know, it also depends on, is it like a high velocity item, like that you're going to sell like hundreds of that for 10% profit, or is it a high valuable item, like you think you can sell it for like a 50% ROI? So it all really depends on the velocity, how much profit you want to make. My thinking is more around 20-30% as a starting point, but I'm pretty sure Brian and Danita, you have some idea around that too.
And we talk a lot about that in our training too. What's a good ROI? Over time, should you let your ROI drop? There's a couple other questions here about getting an accurate calculation of your net profit. And I think that Selena and Ronnie, they're talking about the additional cost, being able to add that in there. And they're looking at the bottom line, the net profit, rather than the gross profit that comes from this. So there's not really a way that you could put all of your costs, all of your operating expenses into EVA. That's a per unit cost, correct?
At this moment, yes. Although in the next 1 month, we are going to add like another dashboard where you are able to add like the cost of the rent or like labor costs and things like that, because that is important. We are getting that requirement a lot. But the key point is these are more like monthly costs. The difficulty is mostly on the product cost. Like we assume that additional cost will definitely be helpful to add like a prep center cost or any other cost at the unit level. And that's the difficulty. But we're going to have another dashboard coming very soon as well. So that that the seller knows the precise the profitability of the store, but also the key point is really the profitability of the product.
We're getting several questions about Inventory Lab. Our members are heavy Inventory Lab users.
That's a great one. Obviously, EVA works without Inventory Lab, but we are working on integration. Like, the Inventory Lab is already available, for a very long time. We appreciate that, and we are in the process of integrating with that too. But at the same time, EVA works without even EVA. EVA Inventory Lab and EVA are integrated through Amazon in some way, because whatever listing you create on Inventory Lab becomes available on Amazon. And then once it is available on Amazon, it becomes also available on EVA, because EVA is connected to Amazon. So in that respect, Amazon is the master of the data. Now, the only thing you need to do is just to enter the cost information on EVA, as well as you do it for the Inventory Lab, and it works perfectly. The systems work perfectly together. What we want to do is we want to even further automate that integration, and that's also coming soon.
Okay, and Danita has I don't want to call it a workaround. She's got a tool that makes adding the data that you've already got in Inventory Lab and exporting it from Inventory Lab into EVA very, very simple.
Yes. Well, the prime thing we need to get into EVA, as Hai has mentioned, is the cost. The cost is king. without knowing what your cost is, it's really difficult to know what your minimum price is going to be. So I have developed a Google Sheet where you can do an export. There's two different sheets. One is taking your current data. So if you're going to move to EVA, for example, taking all of your current inventory with their costs, and you export that out of Inventory Lab. You import this into a Google Sheet, and on a second page, it creates a new import file for EVA. And you can there define what you want your default ROI to be, what you want your default margin to be, and it will put all of that in there for you, and it will even turn on the repricing for you if you want it to. So with one sheet, you can do that with all of your existing inventory. And then I created a second sheet so that when you're creating new Inventory Lab batches, that's really when, as you move forward, that's the problem. We have to always get our costs into EVA. So as you create a new batch, when your batch is completed, you can export that batch and do the same thing. You import it into this Google Sheet. It translates it into the format that EVA likes to see, and then you just upload it into EVA. And so that in the meantime, while we're waiting for some more specific Inventory Lab integration that could pull that cost data for you, we've come up with a way to make it less difficult for you.
Great news,
and we'll make that available to all of the, the 90-day Prime members. We'll make that available to you to download so that you're, to copy so that you're able to do that.
Great. And we'll talk more about that. This is for our EBS members. We'll talk more about that in our small group coaching calls and our Prime support sessions. So be sure to ask me or Danita or one of the other coaches about this, and we'll make sure that's available for you. There's questions about support. Hi. And I know that both Danita and I have had marvelous support from both you and Barry. Our members would like to know, what type of support do you have for them?
Well, I mean, we really we are obsessed about support, and it's important for us, to support even our, the starters to, our premium members all in the same way. We provide a chat window on the application, and that is almost 24 hours available because we have customers in Europe, in Asia, in US. So it's a 24/7 support, and typically you got a response in maximum 15 minutes. So the best way to approach EVA is you start using EVA, and at any point you have a challenge, you can easily use the chat window and talk to an Amazon expert, and every single person behind the window, even including myself, we know Amazon, and we always try to help. Now, for the beginners, what we also do is an onboarding call. So as soon as you connect your store, we don't just want you to navigate on your own, which you can do it if you want to, but also we can do an onboarding call, and we will make sure that everything works fine in that call. It typically takes 30 minutes. We take your file, we upload it, we show you how to do it. So the first time, it just works for you in that call, and then from there, you can do it on your own by just downloading and uploading the template. So that's also an important part of the support.
And Gurinder is saying that you have excellent support. He's had a few one-on-one calls with Barry. I've met with Barry. You guys are great. Your support is great. Can you touch briefly on the replenishments, and then we have an offer for everybody that we could show them?
Sure. I mean, reimbursements.
Reimbursements.
Yeah, I just wanna show it to you because that's something like a way of creating free cash. What happens is the more you grow your Amazon business, and especially when we're talking about the FBA business, the more units you send to Amazon. What happens is on the Amazon side, sometimes they lost the units, or they are damaged, and they're all this type of anomalies. If you have a very large store, typically it can be 1 to 2% of your revenue is lost in that transition or translations that are happening on the Amazon side. And what we do with reimbursements is we audit the whole transactions. We make sure if there is anything that is not done correctly by Amazon, if they damaged the units, or if the inbound units are lost, or it's damaged, or there's some customer service issues, maybe you return a customer returns an item, but they didn't return it in the 45 days, but 90 days, then you don't need to pay. So we audit every single Amazon transaction, and and what you see is on this reimbursement analytics is what we do for you, and if it's a manual process where we audit and recover your funds from Amazon. Now, if you're making maybe $10,000 a month, it can be maybe $100 or $200 of transactions, but it's recovered from Amazon, so it's great cash back to your business. But at one point, if you're doing $100,000 a month, it can be a couple of $1,000s of cash back from Amazon because of all these other things happened on the Amazon side, and they haven't reported it back to you that they lost the item. So that's the reimbursements.
That adds up over time. Even if you think, well, I'm a small seller, it does add up. Hi, I'd like to go to our offer here, or your offer, I should say. So can I share my screen? Can I take the screen back?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, there we go. Oh, I've had pop-up software going on there. Okay, so if you're interested, I put this link into chat. You can go to joinebs.com/EVA, and they have a 15-day free trial. You can get 20% off of your monthly subscription with EVA for using the code REFER20. REFER20. So we put
Brian,
this in chat.
We're not seeing your. Oh yeah, now we see it. I see it now.
There it is. Okay. So joinebs.com/EVA and be sure to use their code REFER20 to get 20% off. Hi, a lot of repricers are $50 a month, $100 a month, 1% of total sales. How much does it cost a person to get started with EVA?
And that's what I really enjoy very much is it starts from $24 for the starters, and we do it on purpose. Again, you get all the 24/7 support. You have the great tool. You have artificial intelligence working for you, and it's just $24 because we really want to help. If you grow your business, at some point we're going to charge you more. But the key point is, start with $24 and enjoy EVA and enjoy the best technology available in the Amazon world.
And it's so easy to set up.
I was going to say, and that's a very wise decision, Hai, because by using a repricer, people can grow their businesses faster, and that then gives, that helps both us as sellers and you as the provider, because as we grow, we can pay you more, but we can really grow a lot faster by having tools like this at our arsenal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So there are more questions here. I'm going to suggest you go to joinebs.com/EVA. You can ask those questions through their support box, but they've got a lot of information on their website, including what's the annual plan, what does it have? That's all on their website there. So if you are new, again, to the e-commerce business school, you should come and join us at joinebs.com. We have great events, great workshops, great training and support and mentorship. This is a picture from one of our past live events. Hopefully we'll be doing live in-person events again soon. And we'd like to say hustle and heart is what sets us apart. And you're going to find that that's true if you join our community. You can go to our homepage. Yeah, hi. Don't you love it? That's right. Go to our homepage, joinebs.com. You're going to find free training there, student success stories, and more. So please come and check us out. And hi, thank you. Thank you so much for being on here and giving us a run through.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And Danita, thanks very much for joining me on this call too.
Yeah, you're welcome, always.
Okay, I want to say have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week here, Saturday Morning Live. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.